Yo, what's up, guys? Schizomaniac here to bring you Occultic 9 episode. Shit, I don't remember what episode we're on. I want to say, fuck, what episode is it? But you know what? Let's go check real quick because I do not remember, and it might be something that's somewhat important to remember. It's not that it's just been a while, and because I did like the last two episodes bunched together. Things have been rough. Okay, so episode 7. We're on episode 7. Episode 7, for all intents and purposes, only really focuses on two major plot points. The first thing is we have this new girl named Asuna who seems to be taking over for, Moritska, which is our little kid detective. Although it's weird because she seems like a little kid in her own right. And then the other half is kind of the characters discussing whether they're dead, because we see Sarai, Gamon's name, Sumikaze, and we even later hear Miyu's name. The only character that hasn't been explicitly revealed to be dead is Ryotas, which is interesting, or Izumi, and they're kind of discussing their experiences, like how, and we kind of see it later on near the end of the episode with Gamon, that they're not the only ones dead or in this position, because Sumikaze mentions that she was able to interact and talk with various people and have conversations, but Sarai picks up, but you couldn't talk to all of them, could you? Meaning that it's not just the main characters who are in this weird limbo state of where they're dead, but they're like still on the same plane of existence as like normal people. They're just fucking like, they're not the only ones. And if I had to assume, it's probably pretty much telling me that almost the entire 256 people were probably in the same batch. Then you have Asuna, which I guess knows Moritska's in some shape or form fashion, because he even mentions later on in the episode how he didn't want her on the investigation for a reason. It's implied that she's probably one of those sickly friend characters who probably shouldn't be getting involved, but fuck it, you're getting involved because the person that was involved died, and she's still trying to figure everything out. We also finally get to see Moritska talk with the demon, who really isn't a demon, which also comes into the form of, we know that Ria's also dead too. Dead. But then the question becomes, okay, these characters are dead, and at the end of the episode, we actually get to see Gamon's corpse, with Gamon looking at his corpse and being like, are we fucking for real here? Well, if that's the case, then the question is, so being dead, and obviously it's the way they die. They all probably died in the same manner. And going to find their corpses is what kind of proves it. Chie died like at least an episode or two ago. What does that mean? Does that mean, and it's as I said, what specifically happened? Is it just because of the way they died in phase 1 is what led to how that they're still kind of here along with everyone else who seemed to have died that way? Unlike Chie, or Chi-chan, who just seemed to just fucking get mashed and murdered to death and is just dead. So I guess you could say they're kind of in like a purgatory situation where they're dead, they're just not dead. But the only people who would know that they're not dead are the ones who were dead. That may not have made sense, but you kind of get what I'm going with. So our situation as of now is that we have this weird group in the background trying to obtain immortality using these experiments, which caused the deaths of hundreds of people. But they didn't really die. They just died from the main physical realm. So the only people who would know that they're still like around might be girls like Asuna. Although Miyu seems to be dead, which kind of negates the theory of the fortune teller, like the people who could like see the future or see into people's minds, like they actually had some type of magical ability, are still alive, because Ria's dead, Miyu's dead. The only one we don't know if she's dead or not is Rurika. Also based on Asuna's peering into Moritska's memories, we know that he was already researching Rurika before he died, which means it was before all this other shit happened. So my question now is, when did the deaths take place? Did the deaths take place after the key incident, but before? And I say it has to be after the key incident because the key incident supposedly takes place before the 200 something deaths. But then again, how the hell is he talking to this chick on the radio? That means this chick on the radio has been talking to him ever since he was alive and then after he died. That's all the question. The question becomes, when did they die? Also, the other question is, how is it that Chi-Chan was able to talk to Miyu before? But which once again brings up the question, when in the series did they die? It can't be before the beginning of the series, because if it was, then it doesn't explain Chi-Chan's situation. Chi-Chan can't get killed if she shouldn't be able to talk to Miyu if Miyu was already dead. Which tells me it had to happen in between episodes in which everybody died. Then it brings up the question, well, how are you able to talk to this radio? And obviously the radio doesn't inherently follow any rules, but it was kind of assumed the radio was kind of like a connector. The connector doesn't make sense in the context of the show because it appears like in the first 2 episodes, I think. So I'm trying to, like, it's a lot of shit I'm trying to process. But the idea that I have so far is that the deaths probably, the 256 deaths probably take place in between one of these episodes. I would probably guess between episodes like 3 and 4. 3 and 4 or 4 and 5. It takes place somewhere around there, meaning it had to take place before, it took place after Chie was kidnapped. So Miyu died. The boy, we don't know much about. We also start hearing some more things about his name, which I think his name is Kiryu, the demon who hangs out with Rhea. That he was having out-of-body experiences and that Moritsuka was researching into him as well, which tells me that he's probably not even dead. He's probably being perceived as dead because he's having out-of-body experiences. Or is he actually dead and maybe he's one of the first experiments? He's like the one who's been quietly hanging around. I'm curious where things are going to go now, because now it's like, okay, Gamon's confirmed it. They're dead. But the way they died is now the issue. I kind of wish they hadn't revealed the whole organization in the background, because it kind of takes away the mystery aspect of the show. It's like the show's all about occultic shit and fighting the crazy stuff. But the truth of the matter is, it's not really about figuring out how it happened. I mean, obviously we don't know the specifics of the experiment, but it seems we already know the why. It's a way for them to slowly but surely inch their way closer to immortality. We know that this was a part of a phase. We just don't know the specifics of the phase and what it specifically was doing, and when all these 200 something people got caught up in it. Like, we just don't know the prequel of that event. But we already know who it is. It's like government officials, it seems like. So, like, now it brings up the question, well, what's the point of the show? The show is to get to that. But it's not like there's... And the funny thing is, those characters don't seem like they're relevant in, like, the main character sort of way. They seem like they're just kind of around. So, I don't know. It brings up then also the cold situation with Sarai's dad. Did he put that there because he knew that was what was going on and he got killed before he was able to, like, bust them for it, or what? I don't know. Maybe he didn't agree with the whole immortality thing and they were like, well, we can't let you live because you know too much, and that's what happened. Although he was killed once again traditionally. Although he would have to know way in advance, considering he put a fucking key in his tooth and inserted it into his body. It's nuts. Also, why does Gamon still have the key, and what does the key go to? I don't know. But yeah, everyone leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Insane Game Freak. The Schizomaniacs. Life's a game. Play to win, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out. Woo! I'm gonna pass out. I forgot to breathe. Oh no.